Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama and Anubis. He just looked up. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I have an entire playlist of series that goes over all of the facts of the Bill Cosby case. The video is called Bill Cosby's Appeals Court Hoax. Or farce. I haven't come up with the title yet. I've got like 30 titles I'm working with, but I'll figure it out. This is a dark day in American history. The judicial system just got its second black eye. The Superior Court of Pennsylvania bent over backwards to continue the lies and illegal and unconstitutional trial judge who let 6 women get on the stand and literally say whatever they wanted as proof, without proof, against Dr. Cosby, without even one single one ever going to the police department, submitting themselves to a trial, nor being tried in a case of their own in a court of law in the United States. Not a single one of them. As if to thoroughly scream to the world that the Superior Court indeed was on the payroll, the verdict literally call this a Me Too trial. For those living under a rock and not intelligent enough to be an adult, judges at this stage are set for life and take an actual oath to uphold the law and not uphold politics. That a judge would cite #MeToo means the judges should be removed and the entire Superior Court scratched. But wait, that's not all. They said all 6 women could testify, although there was no evidence that what they said was even true. In fact, one lady said she didn't even know if anything had happened, right on the witness stand. And that was brought up in the appeals court. They ignored it. But that's fine with the Superior Court, because what's this upholding the law about? We'll make it up as we go along, because that's not all. They also upheld the judge unsealing a sealed case. They upheld breaching the state promising Dr. Cosby nothing would be held against him ever for the rest of his life in order to get his testimony for a civil trial. They also upheld destroying the promises made in the civil suit of the alleged victim who confessed nothing actually happened to gain $3.2 million in a settlement with Dr. Bill Cosby. She was put under oath and signed a contract to get $3.2 million to say she would never breathe a word of it ever again. The victim in this case was not made to pay back the money, which she spent every red cent of, in order to bring a second criminal trial. Every American should be shocked and angry that the Superior Court went out of its way to break the law at every turn to uphold the trial judge breaking the law at every turn. But we knew this was coming, because from the moment the appeal court trial started, the Superior Court judges attacked the defense attorneys. No one was shocked that they turned around and started reading their verdict for #MeToo. Several people came out in defense of Dr. Cosby, namely the very woman that everyone tries to quote Dr. Bill Cosby originally confessed to giving party favors for, who continues to correct everyone that she asked for the party favors and remains a dear friend of Dr. Bill Cosby. But the real crux of this case hangs on 2 things. Dr. Bill Cosby is actually in jail because he refuses to confess to being a predator, as per the trial judge's command. And with that, be a registered predator for life and monitored for life. These are the 2 things why Dr. Cosby is in jail today. The funny thing about this last command is that actual predators constantly try to attack whomever they are infatuated with. Dr. Bill Cosby's accusers have gaps of 30 to 60 years of instances in between their allegations. This alone defeats any notion that Dr. Bill Cosby is any kind of predator. You can't be a predator today, then wait 30 years and be a predator later. Doesn't happen like that. For all of you who are not of a mature mind and not capable of thinking very well, the predator is never sleeping. He or she, there's a lot of she's that they don't want to admit to, and they are constantly on the prowl. You're not a wolf one year and not a wolf the next year. You're a wolf every day. Also, even 2 seconds of research in their stories reveal that they were at most extramarital affairs, with some being put up in luxury apartments and living the lifestyle of a celebrity without doing any actual work themselves. If you watch Kojak or Barnaby Jones or Columbo, any of those shows, you would know they would research that. What did you actually do that you're living in the penthouse on 5th Street in Maine? Nothing. Okay, how could you I could just see Columbo going, I'm sorry, how could you afford that? When Dr. Bill Cosby stopped paying for their lifestyles, that's when they went to the tabloids to try and sell their stories, including the accused, Andrea Constand. With this Superior Court decision, 10 women can literally form a group, accuse you, go to trial, and you be convicted without any actual proof, any actual evidence, because that's what happened in this case. There was no corroborating evidence. In fact, all of the evidence was in defense of Dr. Bill Cosby. She kept coming back. She went back. She returned again. She called him over 30,000 times. Text messaged him over 30,000 times. Sound like a victim to you? The Superior Court said, quote, "For all the aforementioned reasons, we conclude that the trial court did not abuse its discretion by admitting the prior bad acts," that's a legal term, "evidence, and therefore, appellant's first claim lacks merit," the ruling concluded. This sets up the next appeal in state Supreme Court. While everyone is celebrating this first appeal victory for #MeToo, which destroys any sane person's beliefs that this was any form of justice at all, when several witnesses say Andrea Constand lied about the entire thing, but were denied to take the stand, lawyers behind the scenes are nervous what the state Supreme Court might do. After the state Supreme Court, though, it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court. And no one is under any illusions that the U.S. Supreme Court won't come crashing down hard on Pennsylvania for this kangaroo court debacle to continue, with potential millions of dollars to be repaid to Dr. Bill Cosby for false arrests, false imprisonment, and even more millions to deprive him of launching several new TV shows which were already in the work and about to set to be shot on camera. Justice Clarence Thomas and Justice Brett Kavanaugh have already been tested in such cases brought to the U.S. Supreme Court. Justice Thomas wrote the winning opinion. So it is a no-win situation for the state of Pennsylvania. If the Pennsylvania Supreme Court refuses to hear the case, it goes directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. If they hear the appeal in Pennsylvania Supreme Court, they know if Dr. Bill Cosby team doesn't win, it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court. So, Pennsylvania is in a no-win situation, and this upholding of #MeToo will be their doom. Because coming right behind all of this is the FBI and the Department of Justice, who already have cases building against Pennsylvania. So all of the judges that sit on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court are weighing what they're going to do, because either they're going to be a part of the FBI investigation, the Department of Justice investigation, or they're not. That's what they have to deal with. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Justice will prevail in the end. Cosby spokesman Andrew Wyatt issued a statement saying that the news was appalling and disappointing, and reiterated Cosby's oft-stated assertion since his conviction that he is a victim of corrupt justice system. Quote, "It shows the level of corruption that resides in the judicial system of Pennsylvania," Wyatt said in a statement emailed to USA Today. Quote, "It's obvious that the judges' minds were made up because they didn't take the time to dissect Mr. Cosby's appeal. We're not shocked because it shows the world that this isn't about justice, but this is a political scheme to destroy America's dad. However, they will not stop us, and we will prevail in the state Supreme Court. Mr. Cosby remains hopeful, and he stands behind his innocence." It is very funny that he cites America's dad, because a lot of periodicals, newspapers, magazines, commercials are all attacking Dr. Bill Cosby as being, quote-unquote, America's dad. Do you think there's some hatred against Dr. Bill Cosby for being America's dad? You can write that answer below in the comments. Jennifer Bojane, one of Cosby's appellate lawyers, said his legal team is hopeful that the state high court will take the case because of the number of novel issues his appeal raises, including that this due process rights were violated. A lot of Supreme Court and appeals courts won't even listen to a case if it doesn't talk about anything new. So she is saying that this is talking about something new. Quote, "What has been given short attention in the decision is that it devoted only one graph, meaning paragraph, to the prejudice Mr. Cosby suffered by the prior bad acts testimony," she said. She said that the case is not over even if the High Court rejects the case, because Cosby also has the right to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, which I just explained. In addition, she said Cosby could go back to the trial court level to seek a hearing under the state's Post-Conviction Relief Act to bring up a new evidence of, say, failures by his trial attorneys, which I have talked about before and brought up and said that they may be incompetent. How do you lose a case where the former district attorney lays out all of the facts that there is no case? How, Sway? How? It's not over, Miss Bojane said. We're still hopeful the state Supreme Court will review the case. Cosby's wife, Camille, also issued a statement, an email to USA Today, reading in part, quote, "I can assure you that our personal battle against clear racist, incestuous vindictiveness within the Pennsylvania criminal justice system is not over." Let me clue all of you all in who are not in the know. The FBI, prior to this case, brought to trial and prosecuted and convicted several judges, district attorneys, the DA's office staff members, police chiefs, what have you, and convicted and are sitting in jail due to corruption. This is nothing new in Pennsylvania. And my statement should make you go and look up where you live and what has the FBI been doing against your judges and district attorney in your state, in your city. Pennsylvania has a known corrupt reputation. Does that clue you in at all as to what's really going on? Finally, it wasn't brought up, but I will. The trial judge had an affair with a former district attorney's staff member. This current district attorney and the trial judge both personally hate the former district attorney. And so, even bringing this to trial was a vendetta or revenge against him, because he said there was no case at all. There was zero proof, and the victim changed her story 3 different times, including mistaking the year that the incident supposedly happened. In fact, in every statement, she changed the time period that this happened. In every statement. Outside of the trial, but he said he thought something did happen, and that's why he worked with her to go to civil trial so that she could get paid money. It's funny how people work. Might I point out that Andrea Constant is white, the former district attorney is white, the current district attorney is white, the current trial judge is white. Might I point that out? Leave a comment if you don't think I should point that out. Outside of the trial, the judge's wife was on the courthouse steps protesting the trial, with Gloria Allred and her false accusers too, demanding $100 million from Dr. Bill Cosby. Can I point out that the women leading the charge in the #MeToo movement have all been accused and a few arrested by staff members and even one underaged young man? No? You don't want to hear about that? Oh, okay. Thought so. All the newspapers are carrying this story as a #MeToo trial. Not a trial, but a #MeToo trial. For all of you women and men, we always ignore the men who women assault, who are actual victims of real crimes. You should be on Twitter calling all of these corrupt people out. All of these #MeToo people, all of this stuff. All of these supposed victims who have been proven case by case to be either a gold digger or gold diggers sort of includes all of them because they all went to the tabloids to try and sell the story. Here's a fun fact. All of the tabloids said, you have no story, we're not going to publish anything that you have, and we're not going to pay you for this false story. They tried for decades. The tabloids would not take their stories. And let me clue you into what tabloids actually are. Most tabloids have some sort of grain of truth, some sort of proof, something that they can fall back on if they get sued, because they are constantly sued. You forget that part too. They are constantly sued, and they have to have something that they fall back on as being proof that the story has some sort of merit or some sort of truth, some sort of evidence behind it. None of these women who went to any of the tabloids ever was able to make good on their promises, or the tabloids take their story. None of them. That, if you were talking about the court of public opinion, that alone should sway your opinion as to the truthfulness, or in this case, the untruthfulness of these women's story. All of them went to the tabloids. All of them. None of them got published. None of them. If you watched the whole video and made it to this point, I want you to type #justice always wins in the end. Justice always wins in the end. Thank you all for watching. It's Christmas time in the United States, and my birthday is just a week after that. So if you would like to donate, please donate at paypal.me/Shakaama or patreon.com/Shakaama. Did I say PayPal? PayPal.me/Shakaama. Or cashapp.me/$Shakaama. Thank you all for watching. I'm really hopeful. Not hopeful. I think it's a done deal that Cosby will be let out of jail and will go back to trial and get repaid goo gobs of money, and that he will sue the heck out of all of the women, including Andrea Constant. Thank you all for watching.